He's a legend here at the Comedy Store. Put your hands together right now for Earl Skakel.
I'm just waiting for the people to leave. Great energy in this room right now. Always makes the comic feel good when they get called to the stage and literally just 20 people got up and left. Like they didn't even give me a shot. It also makes the comic feel really good when they crank up the air conditioning. Was there a dog killed in here or something? I mean, I feel like the warm-up act at the Holocaust right now. Guys, I'm Jewish. I can do that joke. It's fine. You know, I think I'd like to start filming my Netflix special right now. I mean, this fucking crowd's hot. Can you imagine turning on some guy's Netflix special and it's just an hour of them bombing? Not one fucking laugh, he's in leather pants and a white jacket, just not giving a fuck! Because all specials look alike. Can I ask who your favorite comic is? There's no wrong answer. Chappelle, I just had to follow him here last week, and I felt like the Chinese guy going on after the black guy in a gangbang. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad I was in the movie, just wish I went on before him. Dave Chappelle plays arenas. Playing a comedy club is insulting to him. He's so big. Who's your favorite comic? Chris D'Elia. That's a tough one. He did play arenas. Dimitri Martin. Lovely gentleman. Plays packed clubs. One more, sir. All right, let's not turn this into a chat room. I'm looking at him and someone over there goes, Leslie Jones. George Carlin, if he was alive, he would play arenas. He was a beast for an old white dude. But all those specials look alike. You can put in one, you can put Chappelle and Sebastian's, you can put Sebastian's and Chris D'Elia. That's why I want to do one where the crowd gets up as soon as I walk out on stage. Air conditioning even kicks in 1 minute later. And when you're watching that on Netflix, you're like, holy fuck, I think I was at this show. How did he upload that so fast? I knew this would be a weird set. I had a feeling because when I got here, some guy leaps over the barricade and he's like, you're Earl Skakel, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh my God, you're my favorite comic. And then he left. So right now, my number one fan is at the Walgreens on Pico and Robertson. I bought this at the Hollywood Bowl farewell concert 2 weeks ago. Yeah. No, you guys are probably sensing some sarcasm when I say I bought this at their farewell concert, because I also went to their farewell concert in 1995. Kiss has been at it a long time. I think they played The Last Supper. Hey, speaking of The Last Supper, what do you think the waiter got tipped at that? 12 Jews around the table? Probably not much. Does anyone have a gun in here? All right, I'm glad you have a gun, but I'm Jewish. Don't point at me like that. I was a Dodger fan until they signed that guy, Kike Hernandez. I didn't like that. All right, I'll do the jokes. You just stare at the Christmas tree. I'm a baseball guy. I'm an Angel guy. It's like, I know, you know, but I also like to play the video game, MLB 23. And they've got some really cool, I love video games nowadays. Like, they're so realistic. Like, I just played Madden 24, and it's so realistic that the first game with the Raiders, 2 of them were arrested for sodomy. It was a road game. They were horned up. Hockey's very realistic. NHL 24 is so realistic. The first game with the Kings and the Ducks, there were 7 people in the stands. But the most realistic game is the baseball game. All right, settle down. This isn't a Yahoo chat room. I was in a Rob Schneider movie in 2003. I know what I'm doing up here. You're probably looking at me going, Rob Schneider movie, early 2000s. I don't really recognize this guy. I was in the movie Benchwarmers. It's about the applause that movie should get. The fucking movie was so bad it went straight to Laserdisc. Oh no, me, you didn't watch the fucking film. Name me who else was in it, other than me and Schneider. John Heater, you guys are out of control. You actually know Napoleon, all right, enough of Napoleon Dynamite. I was porta potty guy in Benchwarmers. Fuck you guys. That's how bad that movie was. In the LA Times, I was blamed for it. They're like, how good could a movie be with a character like porta potty guy? Well, joke's on them. See you later, dude. Thanks for coming. Obviously not a baseball fan. By the way, tip your waitresses. They're working hard. Or not. Jesus Christ. What are you guys, the Israeli travel team? You know, I'm going to do a joke right now that might lose the room. But you know what? You can't really lose a room you never had in the first place. I'm going to need a little audience participation from you guys. So when I give you the hand signal, just act like I said something funny. Hey, we all remember Michael Jackson, right? I mean, it's one thing to be a pedophile, but a fag too? Oh, I'm the bad guy? This guy's playing video games with 9-year-olds in his underwear. Stevie Wonder could see what was going on at the Neverland Ranch. Sandusky's problem was he couldn't moonwalk. Is that too much? I'm sorry. I love you too. I don't know if what I'm doing is comedy. Thank you though. I love you too. I'm gonna do that baseball joke just for you, miss. So MLB 23 is very realistic. See, I'm a professional. I'll go right back to where I started. And they have this really cool feature that you can take the current California Angels of Anaheim of Los Angeles and put them in historical ballparks. Like you could have the Angels play the Yankees in the Polo Grounds and Comiskey Park. And the best historical feature they have is you can actually take the current roster of the Angels and play in the Negro League. And the cool thing about the Negro Leagues is there was more than just Satchel Paige. They had their own Shohei Ohtani. His name was Hilton Smith. He was the best pitcher and catcher and fielder. He was the best. And the only difference between him and Ohtani, about 9.5 inches. You know, I'm gonna make you guys a deal. I've been on stage now, we're bonding, what, about 6-7 minutes? Is that a fair guess? If I'm ever diagnosed with a terminal disease, and I'm given 6 to 7 minutes to live, I would like to do stand-up comedy with you guys. So I feel like I've been on this stage for about 23 years. Hey, you guys think Jared from Subway was set up by Quiznos? You guys like the pedophile jokes, I love it. I don't mean to brag, and girls, keep your panties on when I divulge this information, but I'm in a national commercial right now. It's being played during football games, basketball games, WNBA games, if you watch that. I watched the WNBA game the other night. I mean, some of those dudes can play. That center on the Sparks has a hammer on her. So it's a toilet paper commercial. It's for, and I really don't understand why toilet paper is a commercial. It's, you know, it's a product that pretty much sells itself. I don't think anyone's ever been on the toilet taking a real big greaser and thought, I'm good. Just gonna let it ride. And it's for Charmin grooved toilet paper. Like, what's coming out of your ass that you need like golf club grooves in your toilet paper? And in the commercial, I'm reading the instructions. Like, who looks at a roll of toilet paper and goes, what the fuck do I do with this? Do I shit in the cardboard thing and like throw it out the window like a hand grenade? And the instructions say for best results. Like you just want like minimal results. Wipe front to back. Makes sense. That also means there was some guy wiping side to side. I feel like Andy Rooney on 60 Minutes, but do you ever notice after a toilet paper commercial, they follow it up with a Cottonelle's commercial? And that's the scented toilet paper that you use to pick up any shrapnel the groove toilet paper didn't. And in the commercial, they show 5 grizzly bears in the forest. Like, you think grizzly bears care if they got a dingleberry? You know, this might be my last set ever doing stand-up. God came to me about 23 years ago, and he said, Earl, you're a very funny person. I want you to start stand-up comedy. And I looked at God in my dream and I said, well, God, how will I know when to stop? And God is speaking to me again right now. I've been doing this for a very long time, 23 years, and when I tell people I've been doing it that long, they ask me the same question. What was your best set? Or your best reaction you ever got on stage? What was your worst set, other than tonight? And my best set was, I was on a television show called Roast Battle, and it's competitive roasting. It's not like the Dean Martin roast where like friends are giving each other shit, and then at the end they say, I love you. This was basically skilled bullying. And I was roasting this 400-pound fat dude, and he's a big boy. And right before our battle, it was relayed to me through certain back channels that he had sex with a 16-year-old. And if you don't think that changed the trajectory of my last joke, so I was like, hey, give it up for Joey. He's 400 pounds. He's a big boy. I don't know what's working harder on him, his arteries or the buttons on his shirt. And by the way, he fucked a 16-year-old. So clearly he can't count calories or the age of consent. And I won the battle. So I'm all happy. It's my first time on TV. I go backstage. Now, if you kept winning, it's like the NCAA. You kept battling that night. And the producer of the show, Joel Gallen from Comedy Central, because I don't give a fuck. I'm like the Israeli Mossad. They waited 30 years to get all those terrorists from the 72 massacre. That's me in Comedy Central. Sorry, that was too much for you guys. Sorry about that. So he takes the mic and says, Earl, you can go home now. I'm like, why? I won. I have another battle tonight. He's like, no, you don't. I'm like, why not? He said, you can't body shame someone like that. I'm like, but he fucked a 16-year-old. My worst set? 1994. Now you guys are saying, well, wait a minute, if you've done comedy for 23 years, how can you have a bad set in 1994? I was living on the corner of Century Park East and Olympic. You know I'm an intersection guy. I lived in a 21-story building. I lived on the 19th floor. My next door neighbor, the 1930s screen actress Fay Wray, the original girl in King Kong. I mean, it was pretty neat to live by her, and she still looked beautiful. 1994 earthquake happens, the Northridge earthquake. Now, I don't want to bore you guys with the intricacies of building codes. But if your building was built in the 60s, which this building was, and it's over 10 stories, it's on something called rollers, which impacts, the shock of the earthquake, but your building literally goes like that. And when the earthquake hit, my building is moving like one of those car stereo balloons. It's like this, like this. Security calls me up and says, hey Earl, you gotta get Faye downstairs. All the electricity was out. I'm like, why do I have to get her out? I wanna get the fuck out of this building. It's like, because you're the only one that talks to her. So I'm like, okay. So I start banging on her door, and people, it's like a disaster movie. It's like the end of fucking, Independence Day, people running and crying. And I'm like knocking on her door, and she's 85, so I'm really about to get ready to kick the door down. And finally, Fay Wray, one of the most beautiful screen actresses from the 30s, opens up the door completely naked. And I'm gonna be honest with you, for an 85-year-old woman, she has some great flapjacks. And then I thought, before I spoke to God 6 years later, this is my chance to see if I'm funny enough to be a stand-up. She's crying, she's like, Earl, what's wrong? I don't want to die, I don't want to die, what's wrong? And I thought, all right. I put my foot in the doorway, got right by her ear, and I said, Faye, I don't mean to freak you out, but I think he's coming back for you. Let me tell you, that light right now is more welcome than a winning Powerball ticket. Second worst set I had, 1996, same building. There's an actor by the name of Don Adams. Now you guys are a very young crowd. I'm sure no one in this room knows who Don Adams is. Get Smart. Get Smart was a TV show that's basically spoofing James Bond. And anytime Get Smart was in trouble, like the bad guys were gonna kill him or torture him or detain him in any fashion of ways, he'd pick up his shoe phone and get out of trouble. So one day I'm in the elevator with my two dogs, Siegfried and Roy. And Don Adams walks in, and he looked miserable, so I thought I'd take my shot. I'm like, hey, Mr. Adams, I'm really busy. Can I borrow your shoe to make a call? And he looks at me and goes, fuck off. Joke's on me, because he died a year later. And I'm bombing right now. I have one last thing to say to you guys. And I probably could do this individually at this point. You guys are helping me get through a rough breakup, and this has been therapy for me. And I see a lot of attractive couples. I mean, there's beautiful couples all over this room. And unfortunately, what led you to each other tonight was a bad breakup in the past. And some of you got through that in different ways. Some of you read a Tony Robbins book. The great American thinkers of this generation. And if you can get past his horse face-like features, he makes a lot of great points. Some of you went to the gym so your ex can see you in a more pristine condition. I went the other day to the ultimate breakup therapist, and that's a prostitute. She opened up the door. She said, "Are you Earl?" I'm like, "Well, unless you're double booked with another guy named Earl, I would be Earl." She's like, "Are you cool?" I'm like, "I'm a polar bear in Antarctica." She said, "Are you a cop?" I'm like, "I don't think too many cops come to your door with $800 in roses and cash. You gotta speak their language." She's like, "Earl, since you're cool and you're not a cop, I'm gonna give you the GFE." And I started panicking. I went to USC, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm like, "What's the GFE?" She's like, "That's the girlfriend experience." I'm like, "I don't want that." She's like, "Well, what do you want?" I'm like, "Let's go for the prostitute experience." Good night, you guys. My name is Earl Skakel. Thank you very much.